Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to ZBrush Live. I have to apologize. I didn't set up today's schedule for it to show on the agenda, and I was also thinking of not doing today because I have two others in August, two other streams. However, I do have the time, and I kind of was going to ZBrush, so I'm like, hey, I'll just do it. And if people didn't sign up to watch it, because they didn't know it was on the schedule, then I apologize. But of course, this will be on YouTube and you can always watch it after the fact. So it might not be as interactive. However, it will it will definitely be there. And also, I might divert a little bit from what I was working on today and work on a weapon for the robot we've been working on. So I'll just let you guys know. I don't see anybody connected. So if you are connected and you are seeing this, if you could let me know in the chat. If you can hear me okay, I can give it a few minutes. And also, please like, subscribe, do all the internet things, leave a comment. If you have any questions, you can also leave it in a comment. And if you have questions while you're watching live, you are welcome to ask in the chat and I will answer it for you. All right, we got somebody. All right, Kujira, hello. That's so weird because I show zero people here watching, but yet okay, that's great. Thank you for letting me know that it sounds good. But yeah, I'm looking at the, oh, I guess there is. Okay. All right, well, my chat window information is not updating, so not my thing. Okay. All right, so since you guys can hear me and everything is good, let's go ahead and get going. All right, so I'm just gonna shift out. So this is a robot we're working on. And I might continue to work on his hand or do some other things with him today. I don't know why I'm calling it him. It could be a her, it could be anything. It could be an it. All right, so, but what I was thinking of doing is doing a weapon for it, right? So, and for that, I'm actually inspired by one of my favorite artists, who I don't know if you guys know about this artist, but you probably, if you've seen Ghost in the Shell, you know about him. It's his art, and it's this fellow over here. And the book I'm going to go off of is Ballistics, which is one of his amazing books. He's got a few. And I'm going to try and make a weapon inspired by some of the weapons that are in here because they're really great. And if you are interested in knowing more about this artist or picking up his book, his name is Masamune Shiro, and he is definitely well known. I'm sure if you have been a fan of anime or have been a fan of science fiction, you've heard of him. But anyway, so I just want to let you know, some of the images here are pretty racy, so I'm going to try and not show those. I've got some of the images I found online and I have them in my reference set, but I'm just trying to find this one image that that I was looking at the other day. I take these books out and look at them every once in a while just to kind of remind myself of how amazing they are. And of course, these books have been out a very long time. So I think this one was published in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even sooner than that. But these were a big deal at the day, and to me, they're still a big deal because some of the designs here are just timeless and really well done. So again, the book is Ballistics, and there's blades, and there's a whole bunch of them. And they're all good, right? Yeah. I should have put a bookmark in it, but I didn't. Just because I kind of hurried up to get online today after the two folks that were on before that were doing an amazing rendition of Galactus. Okay, I think I'm almost there. Yeah, and he painted these, which is even more astounding to me that he would be able to do that. All right, okay, I found it. Great. All right, so let's go ahead and get going. All right, so the best thing to do, and I'm going to just go to a I'm going to just create a new folder first of all. So I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom here and append a Polymesh 3D, select it and put it in its own folder and call it gun 1. I'm assuming I'm probably going to make a couple of guns for this guy, so let's just call this gun 1, and then let's hide everything else but that. So if you shift click on the eye over here in the tools, that hides everything, and then I'm just going to go here and unhide this asterisk or the star. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to use my kit bash kit over here to go ahead and choose a cylinder. This one, let's start with something, I mean, I have a choice. First of all, make sure you're in the gizmo mode, and then you can just cycle through these. And I'm just going to go for this 32-sided one. Okay. And yep, that's good. And I'm just going to duplicate that because I know I'm going to need another one that's going to be over here like that. And I'm starting from the barrel. I don't need to. I could start from anything. And let me do a couple of other things here to make it less cluttered. I'm going to go ahead and go to the cam view and make that about, let's go to about 150. Okay. By posting this here, I'm running out of room. Maybe, well, I think the size of that is good. Okay, so, all right, so there they are. I'm going to duplicate this new one that I did and bring it over here. And this is going to be the rest of it. But this part's going to be long, so I'm just going to mask part of it and pull this back. And let me do something here and look at my reference just to get an idea of the length of this thing. So it's about 1. Okay, so this part over here, let's go back to here. This one's a little bit shorter. And again, I'm not going to make the exact gun. I'm just being inspired by it. But proportionally, I want to be, you know, respectful of some of the proportions he's got. This is definitely not that big, maybe about there. Okay, and then this part really actually isn't even going to be seen, but I'm just putting it there as a reference as to the length of the gun itself. Okay, all right, so all right, let's select this cylinder. And you know, it's kind of funny because whenever I look at things, there are certain parts of whatever I look at that basically make me interested in the entire thing. And for this gun that I'm looking at, this part over here is what really inspired me to make this particular gun. So I'm going to work on that first, and then of course I'll be coming back to it. But here I'm just removing a poly loop here just because I know this edge is creased, and what I want to do is put a bevel there. And so I'm just going to bevel this part. But notice as I add this bevel, the crease went away. And I don't know if you can. No, you can't. All right. So as I'm adding a bevel here, I know that this is no longer going to be creased. But I do want to maintain the bevel amount here. So, oh man. All right. I'm going to undo that. And I'll show you why. But I want to do the same bevel on this side, but I forgot to delete this edge loop. So now I've got those 2 edge loops deleted, and now I can bevel with comfort. All right, so here we go. Bevel this about maybe this much, not too much. And then I want to make this exact same bevel on the other side. So without doing anything else, if I just click, it will make the same size bevel. Now, of course, I could have mirror and welded this too to get that same effect, but it's always better to just do it this way. Now, if I press D, I will get this type of shape, which is not really what I want. I don't want this to be rounded like this. What I do is I want it to be sharper. I want it to be sharp bevel, so I'll go ahead and crease. Edge loop complete. Do this one, oops. This one, and this one, and it's a D. Okay, so that's good. What happened over here? I guess I missed this one. Did I do any other thing? No. Okay. Right, so that sounds about right. I think these are protruding a little bit, so I'm just going to mask this part and go to the center and push this out like about to there. That's good. Now the thing also is that this part is sharp, but then this part is a little bit rounded, and here's a trick to do that. What you do is you go to Insert and Edge Loop, multiple edge loops, change this to 1 or 3. Let's do 3. Okay, I don't know if that stayed at 3. Let's check. Yep. Okay, and I want interactive, no, not interactive resolution. I want 3 edge loops, but I want interactive elevation. So when you do that and then you move your mouse, it kind of does this, you know, so you can change the elevation. I think 3 was not the right idea. Let's go back to 1. We don't have that much room. And get something like this. Now what's interesting is that I didn't really want this to have the crease, but since both sides are creased, it will do it. Right, I did the same over here. So if you just tap once, it'll give you the same elevation, and then I'm just going to uncrease these just to get the look of what he has over here. Let's bring this whole thing back, and that looks about right. And again, this is not that much geometry. It's like 578 polys, so it might be more. I don't know exactly. A good way to find out, like my thing is cut off over here, just because I keep going up in the interface number here to 42, because that allows you to see it better, the text. If I usually can go down to 40 or 41, but let's just leave it at 42. However, if you want to find out this information and it's cut off, it's over here under Preferences and Miscellaneous. Oh, yep, right here, and close the window. So you can see it's only 576 polygons. So 576, well, that's weird. This says 78. Oh, active points. So polys are 576, so that's kind of what I need. Okay, so not really that that dense, but I have dynamic subdiv on, so I'm basically getting the shape that I want. Now another thing I just noticed is that this thing is a little bit bigger, like that, and also a little bit wider, so I'm just going to mask this part and push this back like that. Okay, maybe not that much. Again, I'm just trying to match as much of the design as I want. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, the other thing is that this thing is some sort of a metal, and this one is, again, a little bit thinner than that. And okay. All right, so, and there is, you know, right now the transition here is pretty harsh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do dynamic subdiv on this guy too, and I'm going to add an edge loop over here. Like, oops. Right, it still remembers the edge loop. I'm just going to go back to single and bring this back and add an edge loop just about where this kind of starts. Like maybe about there. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to QMesh polyloop this thing in to get this type of effect. I think this is maybe too much of a, I'm going to insert another edge loop over here. That's too much, and push this in like that. Okay, and the barrel here, I'm not really going to worry about that right now. I'll bore it out later. Actually, why not do it now? All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mask polygroup island. I'm going to mask this part, invert that mask, and what I'm going to do is shrink that part down. Okay, so again, with my kit bash kit, you can do things like this. Now notice when I did that, what happened is that the circular shape here started looking more kind of squarish, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and mask this poly loop like this. Mask poly loop. Okay, and then just mask this one, and then now I'm going to do mask polygroup island. There probably is a faster way of doing this, probably with growing and shrinking the mask, but this works. Oh wait, somebody's asking a question. When exporting a subtool in 2005, delayed, at least for me, the window that opens always forgets the location that was open last saved. Okay, you know what? Yes, that is a problem, and I don't know if that's a. Are you on Windows, Kujira, or are you on the Mac? So let me know what you're on, if you're on Windows or if you're on Mac, because I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about. And if you're on Windows, it might be a Windows issue, and I should let them know about it. Yes, I'll just wait for you to do that. Okay, so now I'm just going to take whatever is not masked here. I'm going to invert that mask, and I'm going to create a polygroup of what I just did, and then I'm just going to QMesh that polygroup in. QMesh polygroup island, and just push this in like that. All right, and then if I press D, I should get this type of thing going. Okay, and I probably need a crease over here, so let's just crease that outside part, crease, edge loop complete. Okay, that's good. Now, what I want to do is I want to push this in more, so mask polygroup island, mask that, invert it, and push it in. And I just want to push it enough so that, like, if I get it at a glancing angle, it doesn't show up. I could probably go even deeper, but it's going to basically hit the other object, so I think this much is enough. That's good enough. Okay, all right, yeah, same thing with me on Windows, and I'm on Windows as well, and the same thing is happening to me, so it's not you, it's not a user issue. I think it's either something they did with Windows, and then the ZBrush kind of thing messed up, and it's kind of funny that you were saying you don't know if it's you or if it's them, because I thought it was just me too, and I just thought it was a Windows issue, and I know that it happened after a Windows update, but yeah, no, it happens with me as well. I'll let them know. I'll let them know about it. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I really appreciate it. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and insert another one of these asterisks. And I'm going to choose a cube, just the simplest cube possible for it, and make that cube. I'm just going to unify it so it I don't know why it came in really small, but I'll just unify it so it's that size. And I can't believe so this gun's actually really big right now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go to the pizza boxes, and why did it just show this one? That's weird. Yeah, this should select everything here, but for some reason it's just selecting that. All right, I'll just let's see if it does shrink everything. Nope. That is very strange. Why is it doing that? All right, so what I want to do is I just want to, I'll just say transpose set. That's another way of doing the same thing. And I'm just going to make this smaller like that, just so I don't have something that's huge. Oh, I think I know why that happened. It happened because I've got click to solo out. So I have this capability, which is in preferences. Under, where is it? Is it under draw? No. Is it under interface? Yes. No. Click. No. It's somewhere in here. It's in my UI. It's over to the right here where it's basically enable click to solo. Let me see if any part of it is showing up. Lock. No. Yeah, it's like right there. I can actually, here, I'll use control and drag this over. Here it is, allow click to solo. And it's under edit and preferences, edit, allow click to solo. So it's here, preferences, edit, where are you? Edit and click to solo. And it's this, which is kind of nice because what you can do is with this, you can just click once on the screen and it will solo that tool. And I think that's the problem I was having with the shrinking the size, but now we're good. Now I'm going to choose this cube. Let's do that, center it, and mask this part, move this back, and so this is going to be the body of the gun, kind of all the way to here. And it has two sections, and I think I'm going to do those two sections separately, and it's not as thick. Maybe something like that. Still too long, maybe something to there. Okay, and again, this is not, you know, accurate in any way, shape, or form from a scale perspective, but proportionally it has to be accurate. Okay, so let me unmask this and move this in. So it looks something like this, and the top part actually is a lot lower, just kind of aligning with this part, but it's further back to about there. Okay, and looking at it now, I'm just thinking maybe making this a bit thinner as well, lifting it up to there. Okay. And then I'm just going to control drag another copy of this box because I want another one, but it's not going to be as thick. Maybe like that, and then not as wide. I don't know what happened to, okay. I think what I did here inadvertently at some point is I made this narrower, which is not what I wanted to do. Oops, still narrow. Okay, here we go. This is where we need to start from. Make this come down this way, bring this down to about there, and move it back. Now I can make a copy of it, and then this one is not as thick. It's a bit smaller, and also it's not this wide. It's about like that. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to make another copy of this. And again, you know, if everything else disappears, it's click to solo is happening. And then what I'm going to do with this one is make it, what the, okay, with this one is I'm going to make it, I don't know why it's doing this. All right, here we go. Let's go to the center and then make a copy. No. Move, no. What the heck? Oh, I have this. All right, I clicked on the key, the lock. That's what happened. All right, so let's do this. Now I can make a copy of this. Okay, and the reason why I'm doing this is because there is a little bit of a lip, and I could actually do that in geometry, but I'm going to do it separately here in 3 separate pieces, and it's always easy to rejoin when I need to, but this kind of goes like that. So it's about the same width, but not as much, and I think that should be okay. All right, so I'm just blocking the gun out right now, so there's that part of it. And then this has a top part, so I'll just make another copy of this. And what I also want to do here is I have like 4 parts in here. I don't want all 4 of them to be in the same subtool, so I'm just going to go ahead and say split 2 parts. Okay. So now they're all separate parts, and I want to work on this one. Let's go to the center of it. So there is a part here that actually goes up, kind of like the French FAMAS, I guess is the name of the gun, that actually has this top part that's kind of lifted. And I could probably think that at the time he made his cartoons, he was looking at that for reference, so he probably did that. Yeah, I don't want to crease the edge loop. I just want to insert an edge loop over here. So I'm going to insert one. I'm going to put an edge loop here like this, and another one here, like adding the edge loop where I don't want it for some reason, and I think. Can I not go in that direction, ZBrush? All right, ZBrush has decided to annoy me today. I might have to turn this click to solo off. Okay, so I'm not going to, I want this exact same size over here. And I can either, there's 2 ways of doing this. I can either subdivide this whole thing into a bunch of different pieces, which I think that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to go in here. I say insert multiple edge loops. I don't want interactive elevation anymore, so 0 elevation is good. let's go to 0 here, and did that take insert 0? Yes, it did. Okay, and what I want is, let's go for 10. Let's see if that's good amount. No, I need more. Oh, does that work? Actually, that's not bad. Okay, let's do 10. All right, so now I've got the subdivisions. I can just go in here and QMesh this out, down, oops, QMesh, single poly, do this, and then do the same over here. So I've got that top part now. Not exactly the way I want it, but a good way to start. Now, first of all, it's a little bit bigger. And here I'm going to make a design choice, and I think this goes all the way to here, like it just connects to this part, and I don't know if I'd like that. So I'm just going to make a design choice, or actually it is going here, and there's like a part connecting it this way, but I don't know why you would want it there. I think that's kind of design-wise not a great idea. And I don't really want it to be aligned with the edge of this, so I'm just going to put it here like that. And then this part over here is not exactly a right angle, so I'm going to slide this edge in to about there, and I'm just going to see if I can do the same over here. It doesn't have to be even. Actually, it would be better if it wasn't. So actually, I'm going to leave this as is right now, and I'm going to push this one in as far as it will go. Actually, I might even. No, I think this is good. All right, so there's that. And now what happens here is that I'm going to put a bevel on the bottom. Let's see if that will work. Not there. Down here. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so I want to create that type of angle over here. So what I'm going to do is insert an edge loop this way. Single edge loop, and put in one here, and then just QMesh this down, and then slide this edge. To get something like that. I'm not Paul. Is it showing me as Paul? That's weird. Sharon, it's not Paul. Did it show me as Paul? That's weird because I put in my credentials, so I don't know if it's showing up as Paul. Can you check? Right, so there's that. And then actually this part of theirs is a bit wider, so I'm actually going to go and do that as well because I think aesthetically it looks good. And also it does have I am going to go ahead and insert an edge loop. So here I kind of want to have the same size, so what I'm going to do is just move it down to here. Again, it doesn't really have to be exact, but this kind of gives me does it say Paul in the title? Oh my gosh. All right, let me do this real quick. Let me check on the YouTube channel just to make sure. That's so weird because I had two. I mean, I basically started this stream twice just so I'd make sure that the title was updated, but I guess maybe it wasn't. Let's see here. This is going to be strange. Let me go to live. That is very, very strange because I did update the information. Let me do it one more time. That is so weird. That is so weird. Yeah, just give me a minute. Sorry about that. Stream information. Yeah, that's so weird that it didn't take. Okay, this will just take me 1 second to fix. Sorry about that, folks. It's such a pain in the butt to put in your information, and I know a lot of artists don't do it, and a lot of artists do it, and it kind of, you know, has problems with it. So let me put this in. Okay, that's good, and then remove that, upload this image, clip, and update all titles, and let's see if that takes. All right, it's thinking about it. Let me refresh YouTube here, see if it did do it. Yep, here we go. We're good. Woohoo! Not too shabby. I did not know I could do this midstream, so it's good to know. And Sharon, thank you so much for giving me the heads up. I appreciate it. Okay, back to here, and all right. Now the thing is, how does this thing connect? Does it go on the inside or does it go on the outside? I think it's kind of cooler if it goes on the outside like this, and maybe goes all the way down to here. All right, that works. All right, so it's a little bit too long, so I'm going to delete a couple of these edge loops here and move this part over like this. There we go. All right. I think that's good. I'm going to look at this image in the book again because I clipped an image of it online, but I should have just taken a picture with my phone and put it on the in my reference reference page, but I didn't. Where is this thing? This time around, I'm going to put a bookmark, so I'm not like spending a day looking at it again, looking for it again. I mean, the thing is really cool because like there's this whole page of really cool looking guns. I'll see if I can bring it up in here, but I'm not doing any ones of those. I mean, I probably will be inspired by some of them, and I've got a good image of that in my reference, but not of the rest of them. And I'm just kind of seeing here that I could also have grenades as well that I can make from inspired by his work. But yeah. I think that one page that the gun I'm working on is kind of like maybe not. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Yes. And I'll show you an image of it so you kind of have an idea of what I'm doing. It's this one right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's the gun there. So sorry about that. Okay. All right. Actually, now that I'm looking at the picture even more, I think I am going to go with the way he did it because it's pretty cool. And that is by moving this whole thing over this way like this. And then I'll mask all of this and move this up. Like that. And it lines up with this for some reason, but it kind of looks cool, and I am going to go with that. However, I am also going to readjust my thickness of it because I'm not going to go with what I had earlier. I might actually do this though. I might actually just polygroup these guys. Let me solo this thing out. And I'm just holding Alt to get this kind of temporary polygrouping, and then what I'm going to do here is QMesh this out like this. I don't have symmetry on, but I did select all those points. So this part goes up like this, and then I'm just going to do these guys like this and QMesh them out. I should turn just symmetry on. This will be a lot easier so I don't have to select everything. So the back kind of looks like this, and this could go back just a bit more. And then what he's also got is he's got this, there's a handle here on the bottom part, which is kind of a really neat design, and I'm going to do that as well. Okay, so insert an edge loop over here, QMesh this out this way, and then just mask this, bring it down to about there, that. And while I'm doing this, I'm also going to choose these three things. So I'm going to go to W for move, get the gizmo, hit this. And what I want to do here is I just want to move these three things. So I'm just selecting these three things to move. It should, I don't know what is going on with the pizza boxes today. They're not working right. I don't know if I have some, that's weird. Oh. Okay. Yeah, something strange is happening with the pizza boxes where it's like, for some reason, it's just turn this off. Okay, it's just that turned on, and now it's just that. That is so strange. Okay, I might need to, if this continues on, I might need to restart ZBrush. But for now, there's a way around it, of course, and that is by just selecting these new things that I added. Okay, that's masked. I'll unmask it. This one's masked. I'll unmask it. Is it because of masking? That's so weird. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Reset this and put it in the center of it. And then let's turn pizza boxes on. And let's only make sure that we're selecting these three. And yeah, that's very, very strange. How about if I do the opposite of the selection? What if I do this? Okay, that works. Good. And then does this work? Okay. Yay, finally. All right, so what I'm going to do, what I was going to do, the whole thing I was trying to do is just move this thing down a bit to about there. All right. And then the other thing I want to do is I don't want this harsh edge on this guy. So I'm going to try, so I could bevel this, but it won't work. So what I'm going to do here is, let's see if slice works. This is kind of taking a bit of a, or trim. Let's see if trim works with this. Well, kind of. It did add some unneeded edges, but just one over here, and I can just remove this one. Oh, just insert edge, single edge loop, insert. Let's see, I just want to delete. See if this works. Okay, so you know that did work. So this kind of creates this type of a thing, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this whole thing, thing, duplicate it. Oops, it's still on pizza boxes. So I'm just using Control to create a copy of it, rotate it around because I want the bottom to be the same thing over here. However, I don't really need all of this other stuff. So I'm just going to go to Solo here and go to QMesh. And let me just split mask points. And I think it probably would be easier if I just did a delete hidden. Oops. Let's bring everything back, turn on transparency so I can see inside, and I just don't need any of this, and I don't need any of this. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I don't need any of this. Okay, so I'm going to delete the hidden parts, and for what's left, let me turn double on so I can see the inside. I just need to close this off, so I'm just going to do that with a bridge function. So here, bridge this edge to this edge and this edge to this edge. Now it's always good to hit D after that just to make sure it's all connected and good. It is. We are in business. All right, so this part is on the bottom like that, and what I want to do here is just mask off this front part. This is the part that I want, but what I'm going to do here is bring this stuff back, and also I want this part to go down this way. And let's have it go down a little extra, why not? Okay, so now I basically have this, oh dude, what happened with the barrel here? Let's move that back to the center. Okay, all right, so this is an interesting problem to solve, right? So somewhere along what I was doing, this barrel kind of is no longer in the center. okay? And I want to put it back into the center of the cylinder. I could recreate the whole thing, but that's going to be a pain in the ass. I could eyeball it, but that's not going to really be good. I can also, I mean, here are some of the ways I can do it. One way is that I've got this gizmo circle. So what I'm going to do here is move this. I know that this is centered. Oh, well, actually, let's make sure. Yeah, it is centered. So I can just move this back and forth and zoom until the gizmo kind of circle gets to where the outside circle of this is, and I can eyeball it. But that's not really accurate. And if I want it to be exactly in the center, this is what I will do. I will move this to home, and then I will take this and move it to home as well. Okay, so now I know that they are concentric, so I'll just bring this forward, and I'll take this barrel, move it to home. Now I know they're concentric as well, and then just move it that way. So this is the easiest way to solve the problem at this point, right? Of course, I messed up the rest of it, but here I can just go ahead and do pizza boxes again. And yeah, it's really weird how the pizza boxes are. Oh, I know why. I've saved a step here, which I didn't really want to do. I think that's why. Okay, so now it should work. No, still not working. Oh, maybe because I got transparency on. Here we go. Okay, so now if I move this, it's just going to move that barrel and nothing else. I can move the whole barrel into place, but I actually want to leave it there because that's kind of centered. I just want to do an inverse of what I have selected. And now, you know, when I have pizza boxes on, I can just kind of say, I don't want to move these guys, but I want to move the rest, and I can just get this to be accurate. And now, you know, getting this centered over here is not as big of an issue for me, but I just want to have this aligned, these three things aligned, so that's good. All right, so that's basically another step. And now let's try and continue this on further. Okay, I just want to make sure everything is kind of cool. I'm going to turn perspective on here just because if something is long like this and you don't have perspective on in isometric, it kind of looks weird. I'm always looking over here to make sure I like the silhouette, and I do for this part. I think maybe it's a bit too long. I'm going to move it in just a smidge. I think it's still on pizza boxes, that's why. All right, I'm just going to move this in to about here. Okay. So this could be something that the robot holds on to, so the barrel kind of doesn't move up when he's firing. And I'm also going to have another handle down here as well. All right, so I'll do that next. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and down here, go ahead and insert a star, select that star, and then go to my kit bash kit and just choose a cube for it. Unify that cube and make it smaller. And this is just going to be a handle that goes over here. I'm just going to try and do this at a more kind of discrete angle. It's just going to go over here, right? So that's another handle. So the robot can grab it from the top or can grab it from here. And move this one back a bit to about there. Okay, and then while I have this, I'm just going to make a copy of it. And the reason why I chose a discrete angle is just because I can snap this one back to 90 degrees, and let's move this one, make it a bit longer. And I'm just going to split the other one off just so I don't mess with it. Split mask points, and then this one is going to be the handle. And the handle of it is going to be over here. So this is kind of more like a submachine gun. It's not like a, you know, a big rifle. It's just like a small kind of, you know, and it's going to be bullpup as well. So, all right. So this is going to be the main handle, more or less. And then I'm just going to shoot off another copy of it. And this is going to be the clip, or I'm sorry, the magazine. My son keeps correcting me when I'm playing Call of Duty or whatever. If I call it a clip, he's like, "Dad, that's a World War II thing." You know? So, anyway, a little bit of father-son trivia there for you. Okay, I'm going to turn perspective on for now because I'm just working in kind of the sideways view. Yeah, exactly. KDA, you're right. That's probably where he got his inspiration from, and so I'm kind of doing that. And the two things that give you that vibe, by the way, are this handle on top, which the FAMAS has, and the kind of the bullpup design. So totally 100% correct. Okay, so let's kind of make a longer clip, like something like this. I might make it kind of curved. I'm not sure yet, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But I'm going to do a quick save here and take a tiny little break, have some tea while it's doing that, and then I'll get back to it. What's an Ash 12? I don't even know what that is. Is that the Chinese gun? Ash 12. Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, but the Ash 12 has that kind of handle, kind of more towards the back. But yeah, I think those two are probably. He probably got inspired Shiro probably got inspired by those guns. So I think you're right there. Okay, so this saved. So let's go back to here. And how are we going to do this? Let's see. It's funny, I'm not using this at all because all I'm doing is just using the ZModeler. Yeah. Oh, is that Russian? Oh, okay. I thought it was 50 cal. No way. The Ash 12 is a 50 cal? No way this thing's a 50 cal. It is. Okay. I guess there's a 12.7 millimeter version. Let me see here. Just jump ammo. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. It is, but it's not like a 50 cal, like a big 50 cal. It's like a Magnum kind of bullet. Yikes. Man. Yeah, I'm actually sorry. I'm completely getting distracted here and scrolling and watching like people shooting it. All right, sorry about that. Okay, back to what's going on here. Kicks. I bet it does. I bet it does kick like a mule. I haven't fired a 50 cal pistol. I mean, I fired a 50 cal pistol, and that had such a kick every time. This was ages ago. And I cannot imagine what a rapid fire would be. Like you'd have to really hold it down. I don't know how accurate it would be. I don't know how effective it would be. But hey, you know what? All right. So I'm just gonna bend this at this angle. I'm gonna create another copy of it. Do this. Do this. Do this. And this is going to be kind of the back of it. And again, all this is just blockiness, but all of it will make sense soon here. Okay. And this thing kind of goes all the way to here. And I think I'm going to make all right, let's split the mask points here. All right, and I'm just going to choose this piece and work on it for a while. So this thing has the handle, and it goes all the way to here. Thinner. By the way, I am making a gun, but please, I don't really condone violence, and I definitely think these things are cool if they're in a game or something like that, but in real life, man. 50 cal automatic. Wow, why would you even want to make something like that? All right. Probably was a dare. Probably was somebody's like, oh, I can make something be that dreadful, and they're like, no way. And I'm like, watch me, and then they did it. All right, so let's go back to this piece right here. And what do I want to do with this one? what I want to do with this one is extend the back a bit. Nope. To about there. Now the hard thing is that the gun itself in the picture, like the back of it goes into, you know, her legs in front of the back, so I've no idea. So I'll have to make something up for the back, but I'll find something. All right, so, and the trigger goes over here. And then this part over here, let me split these two parts. Okay, and this one, I want it to be a bit wider. Actually, I'm gonna make it pretty wide. It's one of those that basically has 2 or 3 rows of bullets. And then let's go ahead and add an edge loop over here. And again, I'm just kind of putting in the underpinnings of this like that. And then let's mask all this. And let's bring this in. Maybe not that much. To about there. Okay. This thing is really wide. Let's squeeze it in. And again, none of this is to any scale. It's just an imaginary thing. You know, it could be in a game. It could be whatever. And I'll have another piece go over here. As a matter of fact, as I'm thinking about it, I might as well do it. Control drag to create another copy of it. Make this one. Oh. Why are you not in the center? Okay, make this one wider. And this is where the clip is, or the, see, I'm saying it again, the magazine is going to go into. All right, there it is. The booleans were never clean enough, especially after zero meshing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to actually see the specific model that you're talking about to let you know what you could do, but I have no idea to, you know, it would be cool if there was a way to, for me, oh, is this 2 separate pieces? It is. It would be cool if there was a way for you to show me what it is, but you can always email it to me or send it to me on Instagram or whatever, and I can take a look at it and respond to you there. But yeah, I don't know. Split 2 parts. But yeah, if you watch my so I do 2 streams. I do one for ZBrush Live, which is every other Friday, and then the other Friday I do one on my own YouTube channel. And if you watch those, I'm currently doing a medieval thing, and I'm doing a dagger, so make sure you watch that next time. And you can kind of maybe get some ideas of what I'm doing. All right, so I'm just going to make like a little, oh, other way. Something like this. Bring this part in. Now notice that here I'm not really giving crap about anything except like the blocking of it and the dimensions and all that. Like, this has to work before I refine any of these things. And I don't know, I'm an hour in. I might be able to do some refining. It's not bad. So now how to do the back, I've got another picture of another gun he's got there, and he's got an interesting way of doing the back. I might do it that way. Here, let's see if this works. So here I'm just going to Q mesh this out, this back part. Am I doing edge? It is edge. Okay, I just want to do polygon actions, Q mesh, single poly. Okay, it's already there. Solo this out, push this back. Okay, so the way he's done it is he's done this part, and then I'm going to turn symmetry on here in X, and then go in and inset. That's weird. Activate symmetry in X. This is the X. Why is it local? No. What is going on? Solo this out. Okay, that's what's going on. This whole thing is being built in the wrong direction. So again, pizza boxes for everybody. And let's rotate. Oh, look at that. There's mask stuff. That's why. Okay, not a big deal. So if you have everything, you know, if you have stuff masked, you can always go and clear the masks, like what I'm doing now. But if you don't want to do that, there's also, you know, you could use Z repeated or something like that to just unmask everything. So let's see what happens now. Why is it not going to the center? Here we go. Okay, I've got one more thing masked, and that's this thing right here. What, this one? Is that masked? No. Okay, so I think now I'm good. Okay, so the problem I was having is that, did I rotate this thing arbitrarily? Please tell me no. Okay, just go to this part right here, center it. Okay, no, it seems okay. Is it? It's not. All right, so this is an interesting problem that anybody using ZBrush can run into. Is what I've done here is I want to center this thing in the world, but it's just going to center that part, and I think part of that piece is masked. But what I want to do here is I'm just going to choose the barrel as a good one to go with. I'll just pick any one of them and make sure that's centered. And I'm going to, and you can see here that it's actually, this is fine, but the other pieces are not, and I'll show you how to fix that in a second. First of all, I want to put this in the home, and it is, so that's good. And what I want to do here is I want to rotate these so they're facing the right way. So I'm just going to do this first. Over here, if you click on this, the cam view, it basically will kind of put you in the right, and I want the gun to be oriented this way. So that's the problem I was having, is it wasn't. So now that I've done this, to get everything else to be aligned, so I know that the barrels are good because I did that earlier, and I know this part is good, it looks good as well. So, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose all the other pieces, and for them to work, I'm just going to mirror and weld them in X. So now I know for sure it is centered. I'm going to take this, mirror, okay, that's that one, and then take this guy, mirror and weld it in X. Okay, I know it's the same on both sides, mirror and weld in X. Choose this one, mirror and weld in X. Choose this one, mirror and weld in X. So if I'd mirror and weld all of these in X, I know that they are the same on both sides. This thing over here, what about this guy, mirror and weld in X. And I should be golden. Let's do this one too, just for kicks. This one, okay. And I think I should be centered and everything should be okay, and it looks like it is. All right, so now I'm back in business. So here, going back to this, when I go to do the activate symmetry in X and choose inset, now I'll get what I need, which is I just basically want to create this inside part. And I want to take the top part of it and move it down. Oh, pizza boxes are still on to here. Something like that, and then take this part and move it down like this. Okay, that didn't work. What I want to do is kind of create a gap in here, but it's, when I move this down, it's actually skewing this line, so I actually have to move these points up, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So let me just do this for now, and choose these two and move them down to there. And then choose this and move it up. Still not giving me what I want, but that's fine. I think the better way to do this is to do it this way. Right? Not do the inset first, but do the kind of the framing of it first. So I'm just going to choose these two, move them down to here. Actually, I can keep this one masked. Let's move this one up, and I'm going to move the whole thing down and over a bit. Okay, and then I'm going to inset now. Okay, so it gives me what I want, and then I'm just going to Q-mesh this inside part out. And it sort of just kind of creates this empty part. Now there, the back things are still going all the way to here, which I don't know. I guess it's cool for them to go till there, and then I'll just select this part and move it this way. And then select, oops, and select this part and move it out to about there. Okay, and then I want this part to go down. Here we go. All right. And this part needs to extend all the way to here. And I think over here I went a little bit too much. So I'm going to bring this part back. So all this is kind of really interesting to be able to kind of concept out what I need. And then this, I could push in. And this I could push in as well. I don't know what the hell is this thing inside. It's like this little cube over here. That's funny. Here, let's get rid of it. Oh. All right, I'll have to select it first. I'll do it after I fix this bit right here. All right, notice how I'm keeping this all very low poly, and that's a good trick to have. Again, what is this? So weird that there was this little cube created. I don't know how it happened, but it needs to not be here. Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I stream on ZBrush Live. Is just because it's kind of a way for me to kind of help the community, and a lot of us artists do that, and a lot of us are super, you know, kind of helpful to the community, just because we know that it really helps. So okay, something like this. All right. Now I'm contemplating whether or not I want this to be one big piece. So here I'm just going to duplicate it and select one of the duplicates, go to Q-mesh, and just have that back part be separate for now. And then pick this one and do the same thing. All right, great. So now this is kind of a separate piece that I can mold and do other things with. One thing that I'm already thinking I want to do is bring this down like this. And also maybe make this part a bit thicker. Well, actually, that might work. Let's see if what that looks like. All right, and I probably will do something about this harsh angle over here. All right. All right, so now I'm looking at it over here, again, looking at the silhouette, and I see that the back part is a little bit too long, and I'll probably just bring it back to where this is. And that looks a bit okay. All right, so I kind of have the main bearings of it, and now I can start kind of putting in some different pieces. I'm going to take this, duplicate it. So I'm just going to hit, you know, get the gizmo and control drag one out, make it smaller, bring it over here just to make the trigger part. Mask this, bring this in. something like that. And I should have done this before, but I didn't. So I'm just gonna split it to parts. Split to parts, okay. And so now this is its own piece. And to kind of get the trigger hole going, I'm gonna do the same thing with insetting. So inset, and let's activate symmetry so it does it on both sides, and then push this in, like about there, and then just Q mesh this inside part out. Okay, so now I've got this. Again, let's take a look and see if it's working over here. And it's kind of harsh, you know, I mean, it's kind of blocky. Now I'm thinking maybe this does need to be a bit longer. So maybe to about here. Let's see if that makes sense. And I'm going to try and do something here. I'm probably not going to accept it, but I'm just going to try and see if it looks better if this was at an angle. No, it's not. Okay, and let's move this in. Now, the more that I do this, the more I think it was good where it was before. So I'm just going to leave it there. I have to figure out some interesting things to do back here, but that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so now I've got this as a separate piece, this one is a separate piece, and for this one I'm just going to go to the clip curve and clip this down to something like that, and then I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to do slide again, and edge loop partial, and I'm just going to move this back. All right, I'm going to add a, I'm going to do a slice curve over here and just add a line there, and I'm going to do another one that just is going to go this way. Okay, and then this, now I can move this back the way I want to, which is that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with sliding these back. Oops. Edge loop partial. Why is it going all the way? I don't want it to. Let me just mask this part off. Right, that's looking okay, and then I probably want to bring this down a bit. So I'm going to add another, I'm going to slice up another piece over here, and then I'm just going to Q mesh down to there. Okay, and I'm kind of, again, I'm always looking at the silhouette. If this silhouette isn't working, then the whole thing's going to fall apart. So I just always need to make sure that that silhouette is good. I think this needs to be a little bit shorter. Okay, there we go. And I also need to make this a little bit shorter too. And here I'm just kind of contemplating, okay, how much shorter could it be? Like, could it be all the way to here? I think that works. And then I'll put something else over here as well. So once again, I'm going to use Control to make a copy of this, split mask points. And then for this one, I'm just going to shrink it down, move it back here, make it wider. Okay, so again, this is not really doing what I wanted it to because the gizmo was not in the right spot. So I'm just going to move it to the right spot and do this. Get it up this way, and yeah, there we go. Okay, once again, looking over here, it looks good. I think there's this part over here is a little bit too long. So I'm going to see if there's a way I can do this without, you know. All right, so here's a kind of a nifty trick. This is not what this is for, but it works for this. And so, you know, here's like a super pro tip for you guys. What you do is you go into Z plugin and you go into, where is it? Transpose master, right? So transpose master, and you do T-pose mesh. And what it will do is it will take everything that's visible and create a single mesh with it, right? So I got this, I'll bring it over. And what I want to do is I want to decrease this gap over here. So what I'm going to do here is just select. So I'm selecting basically one subtool here and just going over here and moving this back like this. Again, I'm checking this, and this looks a lot better, right? Along to lines of what I want. And now I can just do T-pose to sub T, and this sends all these pieces back to the other thing. And I can tell that it's not doing it right. But let's see. Oh no, it's fine. It's going through all the other things. It's going to be fine. it's not going to affect any of the other non-visible tools. Okay, so now we will get what we want as soon as it gets to the, now it's doing all the other subtools of the robot and everything, and now it's basically doing this, and we're done, right? So this is a good way to kind of manipulate your entire model, and this is like a, you know, I don't know what a good way of saying it, but it's kind of a power tip, because I'm using something that's really not for this. Transpose Master is really good to pose characters and whatnot, but this is a way to use it not to transpose the characters. Okay, so there's that, and now as a whole, this thing is looking pretty good. I'm really liking kind of the design language of it, and the blocking is done. So now all I have to do is refine it, and I've got about half an hour, so I should be able to do a pretty good amount of work with this. So I'm going to start with one of the parts that I like the most, which is this clip. And notice here what I did is when I rotated this clip, I rotated it using the shift key. So I know that when I go back to this angle, it's going to be straight up, and I'm going to do it this way first and then put it back there, because it'll be a lot easier for me to do the things I want to do to it. So first things first, I'm going to go in here and do dynamic subdiv, and of course this is not what I want. I'm going to turn Q grid to maybe about 2 and do coverage just so I get like a little bit of a cool rounded angle. But again, that rounded angle isn't committed yet. It's just a visual cue for me. I'm going to turn polyframe off for a second and go over here. And I want to make this a little bit thicker. And let's add some edge loops here. So I want to add an edge loop kind of here in the back like this. Add one more. And then I'm going to add something similar to that over here, but a little bit wider. And then I'm going to add one more over here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and Q mesh, and I'm just going to do selection. So I'm going to activate symmetry, do selection this way, and just Q mesh this in. And I just want to Q mesh it in a little bit. And what's happening is it's going a lot, okay? And I don't want that to happen. So in order for me to eliminate that problem, I'm just going to add a couple edge loops over here this way, okay? For the thickness of it, maybe that's a bit too much. There we go. And now this should work. Okay, here we go. There. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with this in the back. Let's go ahead and do the alt selection. Okay, and then for the front part, I actually want this to go deeper. So again, I'm going to do the alt selection, move it in to about there. Okay, and then I'm going to add another edge loop over here, and then push this in even more. Oops. Okay, so I think pretty much that's almost done. Right, and then now I can just rotate it back to its angle, and I think that's good enough. To add more visual interest, I might do a couple more things to it. Let's turn polyframe back on. And what I want to do here is I just want to have a little bit of a extrusion this way. Oops. Something like that. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing over here, but I want to add an edge loop this way for it. Do the alt selection. And oops, just push this out just a little bit like that. Let's see if this looks better. Yep. Okay. Okay, so that's done. Let's move this back. Was easy enough. All right, so now with the handle, I'm going to try to do something cool, which is I'm going to make it so it connects to the back. So I'm just going to insert an edge loop this way, and I'm going to take this piece over here, and I'm going to merge this one and this one together. So here's this one, and here's this one, right? So these two, and why is the, oh, Powder Paint, okay. Right, I'm gonna merge these two together. So I'm just gonna choose this one, yep, and then just merge down. So they're the same subtool, right? And then I'm just gonna add another one here, another edge loop here, and then I'm going to connect up. What the heck happened to this guy? All right, the back one's fine, but this one, I think I inadvertently Q-meshed it in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to mirror and weld it. Of course, yeah, how about that? First try worked. And now I'm back to where I wanted to be. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bridge. Let's see if this works. Bridge connected polys, two polys. Let's see if this works. This one and this one. Yeah, it did work for a second there, but then it didn't. All right, let's try it again. Actually, what if I do this? No, I don't know what happened there. Solo this out. Let's try it again. 1, 2. Okay, so I don't know if that's gonna work. I was just trying to do both of them at the same time. Of course, I could always remove these polygons, but I'll just do them one at a time. Let's see if this works. Okay, there's one. And I think if I activate symmetry, I could do them in one shot. 1, 2. And again, I've got that click to solo on, so it's, okay, here we go. This is what I want right here. Okay, and if I press D for dynamic subdiv, I get something like this, which is along the lines of what I want. Not exactly what I want, but pretty close. So, and this back part, I want it to be pretty like solid, and the front part I don't. So here I'm just gonna go. And also I don't like the fact that this is kind of thinner over here. And lastly, I think this I could move up a bit to maybe right there. Okay, and this kind of gives a place for her thumb to go through. And I think another thing I also want to do is maybe angle this backwards, angle it this way a bit. And then Q-mesh this out, do this. Oops, I don't want to slice, I want to clip this way and this way. Okay, that's cool. And then maybe clip this way just to get this top part to be straight. Okay, and I think this could move forward a bit. It may bridge the gap to remove the polygons in the areas you want to connect. Yeah, no, I think I did get it to work, but I don't know what you mean there. Can you repeat it or say it in a different way? The bridge worked. I mean, it did work. The only thing is, I want this to, here. Let me see what happens if I do dynamic and Q-grid it at 2. With coverage, it's the wrong piece, but I'll just leave that be for now. This is the one I want to dynamic Q-grid of 2. And let's change the coverage a bit, something like this. And I think the bottom part needs to be a bit longer, so I'm just going to select all this, and let's move this down. I wonder if what it would look like if it, you know, I mean, I'm not going to do the, well, how about this? That kind of looks good. All right, so I'm kind of liking what I'm doing, but I want to go about it a different way. So I'm just going to go all the way back to here, and I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to separate these out again. Split hidden, and then with this one, I think instead of it having be straight down, I'm going to have it be angled as well. And again, I'm doing that discrete angle of 45 degrees. I think that looks much, much better. Again, looking at it here in the silhouette, that makes it look great. And now, if I go back to here, this edge loop that I added over here was not really good enough, so maybe something... Actually, how about if I just bring this whole thing down? Hey, Murdy, how's it going? Thanks for joining. Oh, I did get... Okay, yes, awesome. You know where the create folds on clothing? Yeah, I do. All right, so let's say I want to. There's different ways, right? So I'll kind of just do. I'll do a quick tangent here. Let me do a quick save. And what I'm going to do is actually was going to do this later. I think this is at a pretty good space right here. So Murdy, what kind of folds are you talking about? Like, you know, what kind of folds for clothing are you talking about? I mean, there's like literally 100 different ways to do folds. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna hide this gun, and I'm gonna bring up the rest of the robot, the one that I have over here. So let's bring up the head. Select this. Okay. And let's bring up the torso. I don't need the shields right now. Let's say I bring up the arms. And let's say I bring up the pistons. I don't need those. The mid. I guess I bring up the pistons. That's fine. And there's this. There's that. There's that. There's that. And one of the things I want to do is I do want to create still need to do that hand one of these days. And okay. All right, so let's say what I want to do here is I want to do a you know, let's say I want to create folds. I want to create cloth to go on this robot. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just go ahead and go into a, I'm just going to go ahead and add, just going to go all the way down here and say append a star. Okay, and this star, I'm going to change it into a cylinder. So I'm going to use my kit bash kit. And by the way, this kit bash kit you can get for free on my Gumroad. I'm going to unify that, okay, and rotate it this way. Okay, and I'm going to delete some stuff on this, so I don't really need this top part, so delete, single poly, I don't need these guys, and I don't need anything on the bottom, right? So this is just, oops, I want to add an edge loop. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create some sort of, let's say, cloth thing that goes over this. Let's say it's kind of going to be unveiled or whatever. So here we go. Turn transparency on so I can see, and then this is going to be this. I just want it to kind of go, you know, just basically box that robot in like that. And I can just make this a little bit thinner like this. Okay, and this is going to go like this, right? Oh, you do. Comic Legend, awesome. Thank you. Do you have the which one do you have? Do you have the pro one or the regular one? All right, so here I'm just basically creating kind of a basic shell for where this is. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and zero mesh this, so I can get like some geometry like that. Okay, and I don't really, you know, I'm not really worried about this because I'm probably going to zero mesh it again or whatever, but I just want to get something here, and this is like a little bit too much, so I'm going to zero mesh this again at half. Okay, yeah, regular one's great. I mean, it's just, you know, for most parts it's great. Of course, if you get the other one, it gives you more capabilities, but you know, the other one's great. Okay, so the reason why it's creating more geometry around the corners here is because it's creased. I'm going to go ahead and remove the creases. So crease, edge loop complete. Okay, so there's that. Now if I zero mesh it, I'm not going to have that problem. Whoa, what the hell? All right, let's turn symmetry on so we kind of get something better. Here we go. This is okay. One more. All right, so this is kind of just the basic starting point. Maybe this is a little bit too little. I'm going to subdivide it once, and I'm going to delete the lower subdivision level. So this is kind of a good start, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say, I'm going to move this all the way down to here, like that. And I'm just going to do a little bit of masking. I'm just going to mask a couple of polygons. Mask, single poly, these guys right here, just so it doesn't like drop off the model. Okay, and then another thing I'm going to do here is just make this a little bit longer like this. Actually, it probably is better if I just move this here and elongate it, move it down, elongate it. Oops. So just, you know, evenly distributed. Again, I'm going to probably zero mesh this many more times, but this is good for now. And of course, I lost my masks on top. I'll just redo them. Not that big of a deal. All right, so now that I've got this, I want to make this into cloth. So what I'm going to do here is go into dynamics and then basically do something first, which is I want to basically create a collision volume. So I'm going to change the inflate here to 0.1 and resolution 2048 is good for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and say recalc it. So now I know that it's going to collide with this. A couple other things I'm going to do here. The gravity 10 is too much. I'm going to go maybe to, let's go to 3 or let's go to 4. And let's just see what this does. I'm going to turn floor collision off and just run the simulation. And that's just basically going to just drop this on top of the model like this, right? But you can see here that even then the gravity is a little bit too much. So I'm just going to go that half that to 2. And also I want this to deflate, like I want it to come in. So when I run the simulation, I get something like this. Okay, so automatically already you see, like if I turn polyframe off and transparency off, you can see that I do have some sort of folds already happening, right? And those folds are in accordance to what's underneath it. So here I'm going to, again, just subdivide it. I'm not going to care about the subdivision mess this is going to create over here for now. And I'm going to run the simulation again, and that kind of gives me something a little bit better. I'm going to do it one more time, and the deflate amount is too much too, so I'm going to go to 0.2 on that one and run it again. Okay, so now I'm getting something really, really cool. The only problem is that it's kind of going below this, so I'm going to make this firmer, like maybe firmness of 3, and I'm going to turn self collision. I'm going to lift that up so it doesn't collide with itself as much. So now notice I'm getting these nice pipe folds going down. Okay, and if I want this to be kind of more, a little bit different, I'll just turn this around like this, set the direction of the gravity to be this way, and then run the simulation again. And then I get kind of it conforming to the front of the mesh, right? And suppose what I want is, let's say what I want is a cape. So I'm going to do the opposite of what I did. Oh, okay, KDA 15, where can I find the kit bash kits? Okay, so this is a good time for me to just do my PSA, I guess. So the thing is, if you go to Instagram, go to my Instagram first. I think that's the thing that you want to keep as a bookmark. And you also want to follow me. So go to my Instagram, and my Instagram is just instagram.com/Kermaco, Kermaco. And if you do that, basically there's a link tree over here, and if you click on that link tree, it gives you a list of all of my socials and all of my stuff. And then there's my Gumroad. If you click on that, that's where my kit bashes are. So there's a free one that has 17 pieces, and then there is a pro one that has 36 pieces, and the pro one just has these extra pieces in there that are super useful. Like if you just kind of go here, it tells you which ones they are. And these ones are super, super useful. So, and it's only $5. So in a way, you're kind of giving me a tip, and also you're getting these really, really cool extra pieces as well. So in addition to that, I have a primitives kit that are cylinders, and I've got a primitives kit that are loops, and I'm working on another one that should be out soon here. I'm actually working on 3 other ones, but I will be releasing those as time goes on. So it's Kermaco.gumroad.com if you want to go here directly, or if you want to, again, just follow me on Instagram, and then just go to my link tree, and then that shows you all my links. It links you to my Gumroad. It links you to my Gnomon workshops if you guys want to watch those. This one's probably a really good one to get my entire workflow from beginning to end. And then this one is if you want to do digital doubles or photogrammetry of models. This one's a really good one for that. It also links to my portfolio, which is so outdated. I need to put some new stuff on there, and my YouTube channel, which is over. Well, let me go to it. So if I go to my link tree and you click on YouTube, it takes you to my YouTube channel, right? And that basically, I've got I think about 7 episodes there, and I'm doing a knight and a dragon and a whole bunch of really cool stuff, a sword. So definitely watch that if you're more into the medieval stuff. And it's not going to stay that way. It's just that way now. And then it also links to my Twitch channel. So I actually stream on Twitch every other Friday. And then a day or a couple of days later, I actually put that on YouTube, right? So YouTube does not, I don't stream on YouTube, which I guess if I start making some money on this, I will get the tools that will allow me to stream on both, kind of like the way the Maxon does with ZBrush Live. But for now, I'm kind of going the economy method of streaming on Twitch first and then putting it on YouTube. All right, so PSA over, back to the action here. So again, we're going to do the cloth. Here's the robot. Just put it this way. And we're going to do cape. That's right. So I'm just going to turn it this way and then set the direction of this thing. And I'm just going to do that, right? So that basically created the cape in the back. And then if I set the direction this way and run the simulation, it's going to drop down. Okay, so now the cape is getting better. There are some intersections here, but I'm not really too worried about that. But you can see that I'm getting some really nice folds, and that's a good way to do it. And another thing also, I am kind of considering releasing a tutorial on my Gumroad that is going to be the 7 folds and how to do them in ZBrush. I should do it. I don't know why I've been delaying it. I've got it pretty much done as a script. I just need to sit down and record the videos. All right, so here we are, and if I just want to separate this out, I can always go in here and separate out the front part from the back part by just doing a polygon selection and doing it that way. So Dynamics is a really good way to do cloth. Another way, like if I wanted to refine this further, you can subdivide this a few times, and then you can just use like whatever. I'm going to use like, I don't know, Damien Standard, and just go in here and this thing. Is this dynamic? No. Okay, it's got 3 subdivision levels. Why? Oh, okay. I just need to make my brush. Okay, so here, like if I want to, get a little bit more definition, actually can just go in and sculpt this way. Now, another thing that you could also do for folds, clothing folds, is you can do alphas. And I'll show you. I've got some over here. So if I go to alpha, and this is going to take forever, but I'll let it do it. Okay, so here, if I go to my alphas, and this part's going to take a bit of time, but I do have cloth alphas, and I'll show you what those are like, and those work pretty well. And I have quite a few different ones, I think, as soon as this thing gets done. We're doing good on time. All right, it's starting to get there. Okay, so you can see here I've got them organized by different types of alphas, and there should be a cloth or clothing one somewhere in here. Grunge, dust, biomechanical, scales, wood, cloth and clothing. Here we go. Right, and I've got different ones from different vendors, and so I'll just go to this one right here, Fabric Alphas. And you can see there are all these different alphas that have like different shapes, zigzag and whatnot. So if you want to do ones like this, you can do that. Or let's go back up and let's use a different one. I mean, I've got quite a few kind of loose ones too. Like if you want to do seams, there's good seam ones. And zippers and kind of all sorts of like stuff for cloth. You know, I've got a jean pocket that I don't know where I got that from. And then you've got stitching and all that good stuff. I have them all in kind of in one folder. But let's see, texture fabric, XMD clothing. No, these won't work for this. Clothing folds, here we go. Okay, these are all TIFF, so they're not going to show. Yeah, let's look at these ones. Fabrics, let's look at that. That's just, okay, these are all TIFF as well. I don't know why I have these as TIFF. Wrinkles, let's look at these. Yeah, these are all TIFF, so they're not going to show up in here. I mean, I can load them in. It's just they won't work in the Spotlight. All right, let me just find something here that, let's just do this one just for kicks. So that loads it over here as a texture or as an alpha. And then you can just go ahead and choose like the standard brush or the, whatever. Let's just say BS standard. Where are you? Standard brush, snake, society, blah, 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 standard. Okay. So you can choose the standard brush, choose that alpha, and then choose drag rectangle. Let's get rid of this. And then you can just go to like certain spots and just drag that out, right? And let's say that goes inwards, right? So now you basically have these types of wrinkles this way. So the cloth hook pull brush, those are really good. They're really, and I have those pretty much on a menu here that I use all the time. I think it's this one, yeah. So the one I tend to use a lot, and let's kind of do this. So before you do that, by the way, make sure that you set your collision volume. And once you do that, they work really well. So here, I'll actually show you. So if I go in here and choose those brushes, I like the nudge one a lot, the cloth nudge. Where is it? Here it is. Where are you? Cloth ball. Cloth pull. Cloth pull is good, but nudge, I like nudge a lot. And then you just go in here and you just kind of notice here that automatically just makes it pop to the surface of that thing. And then you can just kind of move this around. And it's really great for like creating folds. Like, so for example, if I wanted to create folds within here, I just go in here and just go, right? And if I turn this off, you'll see it better. You see, like it created that really cool kind of, right? And then you just kind of smooth it a little bit, and then I do it on the other side, right? So that basically creates these nice folds. So I like nudge a lot. Cloth pull is good as well. So cloth pull, oops, sorry. Cloth pull is good as well. Like if you just want to pull, like I just pulled that piece away, so it just kind of smacks onto there. And cloth pull is good for creating folds as well. The trick with these guys is make sure your settings and dynamics are right, and then also be very light with your brush. Like don't go like, crazy, just, very lightly just tap on it. So here, if I want this to kind of maybe fall down more, right? And again, the first thing you want to do again is just like anything else, block out your, another thing also is that's good is add thickness. So go to dynamic, turn smoothing off, but turn thickness on for cloth. And that gives you a little bit better type of stuff. And if you really want to go overboard, you can also like go to micro poly and turn that on. So that's under geometry, and make sure dynamic is on. Then you just click on micro poly, and then you can choose like a cloth pattern. I don't know what's a good one. Let's see what this looks like. Do I have subdivisions here? No. Why is it so? Let's pick something bigger. I wonder if there's something bigger actually. Micro poly. I thought I put that in here. No? Yeah, I did. Okay, here we go. I guess I can't do that from here. All right, not a problem. Micro poly on this one. Let's choose. How about? Let's see what this one looks like. Yeah, I think I've got just too much resolution here. I'm going to go down in subdivision level by 2 and then one more. Micro poly on and on. Here we go. Like something like this gives you a better idea as well. Maybe let's go to 2. Okay, so then this kind of looks like more like a tarp. And then you can just kind of, again, I'm using cloth pull just to move it into where I want it to, and it will conform. And then once I get it, once I get the general shape of it to work, then I go into the, I don't know why I keep doing this. Then I go into nudge and do some of the nudge stuff. To get like better folds. I don't know why it kind of freaked out over here. Again, just, be very, very subtle with it. I think maybe micro poly is not working too well right now. Okay, so just kind of do this kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be symmetrical. Actually, it shouldn't be symmetrical. I'm going to turn symmetry off so it looks different on each side. Right, so. Right, so, and then you can just go in with like Damien Standard or some other brush and kind of, maybe not with so much intensity and just give it a little bit more definition. You probably want to go up in subdivision levels too. So yeah, I mean, but I think you actually have to know how clothing folds. And again, that's the thing that I should do that video that I'm talking about, which basically gives you the 7 folds and how to do them in ZBrush. And if I get around to it, I'll do it and put it on my Gumroad. All right, so hopefully that kind of explains the clothing stuff for you. The person who asked about it, Murdy, I guess. If you're still there, hopefully that answers that question for you. All right, so we're kind of at the end of the stream here, and what I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and set direction of, let's do a quick render here. Let's drop this down on the robot. So I'm just going to go all the way back, right, all the way back to here, and right, to maybe about there. No. All right, I'll just run that simulation. Something like that. Let's give it a couple of subdivision levels. Okay, well, before doing that, go to polyframe here, and I'm just going to delete a poly loop. Delete lower. Let's delete this part right here. Delete polygroup island. I'm just going to give it another subdivision level and then run the simulation again. All right, and then what I'm going to do here is just go and choose the inflate button, or inflate brush, sorry, and just inflate the cloth out a bit from where it's colliding. And probably, this is probably better done with the nudge brush. Okay, so let's say I've got something like this, and what I want to do is have the cloth be transparent. So I'm just going to go here under display properties, and for BPR, I'm going to go to BPR settings and say set this to transparent. Yes, let's do that. And I'm going to do a quick BPR render. Let's see what that looks like. Let's turn perspective on, BPR. All right, that looks cool. And then I'm just going to control, all right, it did control N to get rid of the other robot. And let's say I'm just going to do like a quick render. Let's add a floor here. Is he on the floor? He is not on the floor. He's higher than the floor. Okay. All right, not a problem. What we'll do is we'll just add a plane. I think I might already have one. I think I do. Here under, I Totally forgot that we made a totally cool gun for this guy. I'll finish that up next time. Add the details and all that good stuff. How come this thing is not all in it? That's weird. Okay. All right. Are you getting distracted? All right. Let's go to props. Turn that on, and I should have a. I don't have a floor in the props. Should have a floor. I do. It's just really huge. Okay. So let's make that smaller. All right. So I do have a floor, and there's a guy there for reference. That's fine. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here is turn perspective on. We have a focal length of 85, that's fine. And let's just get a good kind of angle on him. And let's do BPR, see what that looks like. It's not bad. And what we're going to, I'm going to hide the guy. I don't really want him. I just want the shrouded robot like this. BPR. And then I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to take the cloth and I'm going to add thickness to it. Dynamic, not smooth, but thick. Like maybe about that, just a little bit. And the other thing I'm also going to do is I'm going to turn on micro poly. Let's just make this thing like sweat and render. No, it's too much. Micro poly. Choose a different one. Maybe let's choose this guy. All right, that's good. Let's see what that looks like rendered. All right, not bad, not bad, not bad, but I think this is still, I need a bigger weave. Let's try this one. Okay, should look better. Okay, so let's say I've got something like this, and then let's do a few things with the filters here to make this pop some more. So let's add this. A radial overlay. I'm going to reset this filter. That's actually looking good right there. I don't even know if I want to do much to it, but let's change the up-down position to about there, and bigger radius maybe. That's good. Yeah, so I basically just will create a quick render like this with the cloth coming out around. And I'm going to try this one more time without the micro poly. Let's see if we get something better. Okay, yeah, that's actually even better. All right, so that would kind of be, you know, just like a render just to show progress or whatever. Of course, the gun I didn't really get a chance to finish today, but we did quite a bit on it. And hopefully you guys had fun and learned a few things. I really appreciate people that watch me live, and I want to invite you to come and watch me live on my own YouTube channel or on Twitch next Friday, so that you kind of see me do different things. This is more hard surface related, and what I'm doing there's some hard surface stuff, but there's a lot of organic stuff as well. Okay, so hope you guys had fun. I definitely did, and I'm glad I was able to stream today. Guess I'll have 3 in August. And happy ZBrushing, everybody. Have a good day, night, or whatever